Joining me now is Senior Vice President for Policy and Programs for the Center for Security Policy, Fred Fleitz. Fred, welcome back.
Good to be here, Liz.
Now, the Iran nuclear deal, it's terrible to begin with. We all know this. But this is a very important aspect of it. So in this deal, is it or is it not black and white that Iran must allow the UN to investigate its weapons history before any sanctions are lifted?
Well, the issue, Liz, here concerns something called the possible military dimensions of Iran's nuclear program, or PMDs. That's UN lingo for past weapons-related work. Now, Secretary Kerry said in July, when the nuclear deal was rolled out, that Iran would have to answer all questions about this and answer them conclusively before sanctions would be lifted. Now, we need to know this to establish a baseline so the IAEA will know what to investigate and where. Well, now the head of the IAEA says that this report is going to be inconclusive and he only has pieces of the puzzle. So does that mean sanctions won't be lifted? No, because last month the Obama administration started saying all Iran has to do is to answer the questions. The quality of the data doesn't matter because, in our opinion, this investigation is not actually part of the final deal, and the U.S. has already resolved this question. It is another series of deceptions about this terrible nuclear deal.
In an inconclusive report by this committee, that would not give the answers of the Obama administration that Secretary Kerry had previously said were necessary to move forward, correct?
That's exactly right. I mean, Kerry was very clear that the PMD issue had to be answered. The Obama administration has been saying for years this has to be answered as part of a final agreement so the IAEA will know what to look for to verify this agreement. It's already a terrible agreement, and now the IAEA won't have this crucial information to verify it.
Now, will the UN drop the probe, in your opinion?
Well, that's an interesting question because Amano says that this is the head of the IAEA. The report is going to be inconclusive. So in my opinion, he's not closing the book on this issue, which is what Iran is demanding. What I think is going to happen is that the Obama administration, and it will get its European allies to agree, to say, well, we think this report did close the book, and that way they can move on and Iran won't pull out of the deal.
Now, in your opinion, how important is it for the United States to know the details about the history of Iran's nuclear research and development? Is this a critical thing that we need to know about before moving forward?
It's crucial. And frankly, the fact that this administration does not want to know what Iran did proves that this is not a serious agreement. Mr. Obama simply wants a legacy agreement. He's not going to let the facts get in the way of keeping it going.
All right, let's talk about the accountability moving forward. So if this issue blows over, if we do implement this deal, then there's a 24-day waiting period before the United States or the United Nations could do any inspections in Iranian facilities. But if we don't know what they've already done, if we're not able to get conclusive answers at this stage, how would we be able to tell after that lengthy of a waiting period what they're even doing now?
This is an important question because we're letting Iran off the hook on an important benchmark which would provide evidence to investigate that question. So when we approach this 24-day period and Iran is supposed to cooperate and allow the IAEA access, are we going to let Iran get away with murder again? The Iranians have already said certain facilities will be off limits, and if we're not holding Iran to this commitment, why should we assume we'll hold them to other commitments?
Right. Now, will Congress have any say in this? Because the Obama administration, some officials from his administration, stated before Congress that we would know the answers to these questions before the deal was implemented. So is that a binding agreement of any sort? Does Congress have any recourse to saying, OK, we're not going to go forward with this? What is their role in this deal?
Well, this agreement should have been a treaty, but the Obama administration refused to submit it as one. It is an executive agreement that's not binding on the next president. Now, there is talk that there are a number of congressmen in the House who want to bring a lawsuit to stop this agreement because it should have been submitted as a treaty and because the president misrepresented it under a law giving the Congress the right to review this agreement. And I think what happened with this PMD issue will be more ammunition for such a lawsuit.
And what do you think will happen long term with the deal, given these issues that we've had? Do you expect any other bombshells to be dropped about it?
I think that what we just saw right now means that the next benchmark for the deal, which is called Implementation Day, Iran will simply skate by without meeting various requirements of downsizing its nuclear program. I think Iran's going to make significant progress on its nuclear program while Mr. Obama is in office, and the next president is going to have quite a mess to clean up.
Fred, I appreciate your insight on this issue. Thanks for coming on.